All right, guys, today we are reviewing the data quality from Data Axel Genie, and we're doing the same data set that we've done for other videos in this series. So I'll jump right in. And before I do, actually, I'll comment to say that I have used this tool quite a bit in the past. I've exported probably tens of thousands, I would say, of leads from Data Axel. And the data that it does have is typically good. The issues that I found with Data Axel is that you have to know the SIC code, which is fine, look up the SIC code, but most industries in the modern world don't actually have a proper SIC code. So it's really hard to find the proper companies that you're looking for, and to niche down is pretty near impossible. And it still returned muddled data for some reason or another. I thought in a database that query would be pretty well refined, but that was often not the case. So there was a lot of cleanup involved. But I digress. Let's jump in and see what the data says. So we've compared this against itself. I'll move myself over here. What we found under the criteria again for this is plumbing businesses. We need the owners in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And the reason this was chosen by Josh Nelson is because he knows this industry very well, and it's also very small. It's not a massive community, so if you're finding leads in that, people will be able to know whether they're right or wrong. It's not going to be something that slips through the cracks. Like if you're looking at a big city like New York or Boston, things will slip through the cracks because there's so much data there. Let's go over to our findings. So overall, Data Axel came back with 24 leads for us. 2 of them were an actual match that had the owner's contact and email address. They came back valid after being tested through zero bounce. So pretty cool little test here. What that means, though, is that only 8.33% of the data that we got from Data Axel based on that criteria poll was accurate for what we asked of the system. And that meant just about 92% of it was inaccurate. So what's the actual cost here to get this data? Well, if anybody's actually looked at Data Axel, it's like $2,000 plus a year, plus you got to buy contacts to extract the data, yada, yada, yada. But that's not what we're talking about. What's the actual cost to clean up this data and monitor it? That's what I find interesting. And I think that's the thing that most business owners are overlooking, or sales and managing marketers, is how much are you actually putting on your people to go through and clean up this data? What does that cost you? And so at $23 an hour, which is pretty low for an account executive, but it's the number that ZipRecruiter thinks is the median wage. So that's what we'll go with. $23 an hour. Cost $18 to go through and clean up this data. And that's $9 per lead for those 2 leads. And you don't have enough data to work with. So really would not recommend Data Axel if you're trying to scale into something. If you need it for a pocket of data and you want to see if they've got something different, sure, throw some money at it. But I would say Data Axel, definitely not in this scenario, is obviously going to be a useful platform for you when you can just use something like Coldlytics. I didn't kind of do a pitch on the end of the last one, but for those of you who are new here, I will show you quickly what Coldlytics is. So let's jump over and go to coldlytics.com. This is where you can get lists requested from us, and there's no restrictions. You can just sign up and you can stop at any time. You don't have to pay $2,000 to get in. Just make an account, get some credits, and kind of do what you got to do. So we'll go new task. You'd request the amount of leads you want. Maybe it's 90, whatever that you're looking for this list. And then you set your criteria. You come in here, you can play with all these toggles. If you've got a starting point, like, hey, there's this group on LinkedIn, I want to network with other business owners who are also in the sales and marketing group, you can drop that link in here, yada, yada. So we do have a whole bunch of training on all that we can do in this platform, but I just wanted to show you guys really what our pricing is by comparison. So if you were to top up on the base plan, just to get you started, it's 99 cents a credit. If you're using over 1,000 credits a month, then you're getting, you should be getting them from the pro plan, and that's 59 cents per credit. 1 credit equals 1 contact. So if you're looking at the comparison of data that gets pulled on this search, which is Allentown, Pennsylvania plumbing business owners, you can pay $9 per lead to get 2 of them from Data Axel, or I have to update the table here. We pulled, let's see what the count is on this. 21. We pulled 21 valid business owner email addresses for this region, right? And you only got what you paid for. So you didn't have to pay for access to the software or anything crazy, right? And if anything bounces, then we just credit it back to you. So that's the power of Coldlytics, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments.